Hello and welcome to the Day of the Horse. I'm so glad you're joining me for my studio reveal. I'm excited to share my art with you. So let me get started. So I'd like to share my shadow box of seahorse. Seahorse is reminiscent of my love of the sea and my love of being a mermaid in my other life. I found some kiln dried seaweed, so it's completely preserved, and hand gathered seashells. I'll pull it in close so you can see some of the detail. This is a print, and then I hand tear and decal the edge decorative with pastel to make it look like an original, and it's embedded in all of these nature's elements of seaweed. You can see there's a starfish in the horse's mane and a bubble near her ear and her blue eye. It's mounted on marbled paper, handmade origami paper, and I love this edge. It's almost like seafoam to me, and the gold veins of the handmade paper. These pieces show so much better when I can show them in 3 dimensions or in person, because on a photograph they really just don't do them justice. So that's a very special shadow box to me. Put that here and share vision with you. You've probably seen this piece featured now and then. It's a very evocative piece of a horse's eye with a woman reflected in the eye. And it has owl energy in it because I chose in the original painting to depict an owl feather in the horse's forelock. So to mimic the entire piece, I actually recreated the effects of the original, which was an interesting story. The original, I decided to crop it when I was working on it, which is something I rarely do. And the minute I cropped it, I cropped this edge off and took it away, and I knew I'd ruined it. I had almost finished the piece when I did that, and I was devastated. And I tried to glue it back together, and I was so heartbroken about it. And my framer said, well, I can't really hide the crack. So I said, well, let me do something creative. And this was actually the first time I ever did something that was like a shadow box or a hand embellished piece with 3 dimensional elements. I took horsehair and created the forelock of the horse to hide the crack. And then I drew the owl feather, that's this part under here that is in pastel. And the woman who ended up buying the original said that this was the perfect piece for her because it captured her sadness and her hope in her family story. And also, she said that only the creator can make something perfect. That she had been taught by her husband and son, who were Native American, that artists are meant to insert a flaw into a work of art, so that it's not competing with the vision of the divine. So I thought that was such an incredible story, and you can see that there are 2 owl feathers up here, and these are from owls gifted on our land. So I feel that they are very sacred, and the crocosmia and grasses are all woven in to create this effects of this. And the amazing thing about shadow boxes is they really are shadow boxes. They have shadows that appear and disappear depending on the lighting in your rooms. So you could even hang it in different places, different times of year. And I think this captures so much in this piece. It enhances it so much, even more than the work of art. And you might remember this horse is called Territory. This was a horse named Chazerain that was a beloved horse that I knew years ago, and I painted his portrait and works of art of him many times. I was with him in this encounter, And I actually, when I showed it recently on Facebook, a woman kindly shared that she felt like she was with the horse when she looked at the artwork and with the shadow box, and that it brought her into the moment with the horse. And I said, well, that's the perfect thing you could tell me that gives me chills, because I was with the horse. And not every horse that I paint am I with, so this was uniquely so. And I was definitely trying to recreate the magic of being with him in that moment, with the symbols of the earth and the grasses and the handmade papers. And you can see the effects of that floating of the deckled edged print. That is just such a stunning reproduction of the art. So I think that you would really uh, find that this would be such an addition to anyone's sacred space. I'd also like to share a couple of my beautiful prints that I printed for this event. This is Silent Night, and you've probably seen this one before as well, but it's been lovingly placed in a barnwood frame, which I think is so perfect because it's a barn owl depicted in the painting of the Kindred Spirit series, where the owl and the horse are really one being. It's not that an owl is merely flying by the horse, it's that they are taking flight together as spirit and totem energy companions. And these are two prints I'd like to share. I put them high up so that they're hard for me to grab, but I wanted to make it all beautiful for you all. So these are iridescent canvas prints. So these, I love these little sizes. They're just so much fun, and they fit anywhere. These are reproduced on iridescent canvas, so they have an incredible sparkly effect, and the colors are so gorgeous. They're just, it's a stunning reproduction. Very fun to see my own art on canvas because I work in pastel. So you can see that there are three-dimensional edges to these. So this is called a mirror wrapped edge, and they actually take the art and wrap it around. They reproduce the effects of the art and then wrap it around the edge, so it has a lovely three-dimensional quality, and it hangs nicely off the wall. It has a, comes off the wall with a great dimension, and also to me feels three-dimensional with the effects of the horse, as if they're looking around the corner at you. This is Meadowsweet. She has been wonderfully popular and reminds me that even the simplest pieces, what I call simple, uh, the less detailed works of art that are based on the spirit sketches I mentioned earlier, are equally profound, or more so sometimes. And Meadowsweet was inspired by my own Mare Meadow, a sketch that I had drawn of her, and one day I gave myself permission to go into the studio and do something that wasn't a commission or a work that was for sale necessarily, and this is what emerged, and it has been for sale because so many people have loved it. So I'm really proud of it and happy that she gets to share her magic with the world. And this is The Blessing. This was a Solescence portrait work for someone originally, but she's kindly offered to let me share this work with you all as a reproduction. And this is the mare with the spirit of nature, the divine spirit of nature, and it is her own spirit of nature as well. So this is also reproduced on iridescent canvas. So these are a wonderful example of my canvas prints, and these two are very special. So sort of a three-dimensional piece. These are art stones. I had these made a while ago, and I just love how they turned out. They're such a beautiful way to show the art on a three-dimensional desktop piece that looks very archival. It has this wonderful edge, like a deckled edge, and feels like stone. It's actually, you can hear it. It's a ceramic stone, and so it feels like it was just carved out of a rock and has this incredible work of art. appearing on it. This is Shadow Dancer. These were made in small batches of only 5 images, so this is the last one, and I have 7 different ones, one each. So they are shown on the website, and there's only one available. So if you like it, snap it up. All right, and now I would like to share some more precious works. This is a spirit sketch. Spirit sketches are actually taken out of my sketch pad in this case after spending a day with this horse. And this is the essence of my artistic style in 1987 when I started drawing horses in my art. This is how they emerged. And it was an epiphany for me at the time that I could draw something fluid and moving when the horse was in motion, because you don't have time to do detailed drawings when horses are moving. And I love being present with horses, drawing them from life, because there's a whole different energy that happens in that kind of encounter. And this horse was no exception. You can see he is very bold and has a deep presence. I call this waiting, because it seems like he is waiting for us to take the next step or start the conversation. And this is the original pencil sketch, so it is just lightly displayed on this beautiful handmade paper, and you can frame it in any way you choose. So it's really the essence of the horse. And as I put that down, I'm excited to share this one with you. So this is Namaste. You might have seen this before, but Namaste is been hand embellished. So what I do is take the print, and in this case I had it printed on a very beautiful handmade watercolor paper that has a nice texture that reminds me of the original, which had a very textured feel to it. And then I hand embellish it with iridescent pastel. And you may not be able to see in this context with the light, but in the original, when you see it, it actually glows. It has a beautiful three-dimensional effect, and the entire gong is redrawn in the iridescent pastel, so it has texture and sparkle to it. It looks like brass, like the original did. The original had these effects as well. And I retouched the wings of the dove with silver and white pastel, iridescent pastel. And this beautiful mare is greeting us with the feeling of Namaste, I divine. I bow to the divine in you, and you bow to the divine in her. And the other touches that I added were the copper of the horse is also retouched. And so I call this a hand embellished. It's a print, but it has hand embellished details. So it makes it look so vivid and so colorful, even more so than the print would be. So as this work of art, I just love seeing it again, because to me it's like seeing the original again. So I'm excited to share it with you. Now this one is also been reclaimed from the past, but this one has been reimagined, I call it. So this is Fanciful. Fanciful is an older piece that I did probably in 1989, and it had some elements, some design elements that I added at the time that I decided needed to be imagined in a new way. So I have hand retouched this entire piece. It's not just embellished, it's actually recreated. I call it reimagined because it's a whole new piece. The expression of the horse, the face of the horse is very similar, but the nose is slightly different. And all of the mane has, every stroke has been redrawn in iridescent gold pastel. So in this case, if I turn it in such a way, you might be able to see that it glitters. I hope that comes across on the camera. It's a stunning piece. I've always loved it. It's a very unique perspective of the horse. I feel like She's willing to engage with us, but she's a bit guarded. And she's also saying, you know, what have you to bring to this conversation? Are we equals here? And of course, that's what we want our horses to express themselves fully and be able to have that freedom. So I'm delighted to share this one with you. Now I have a very exciting piece to unveil, which has not been seen before. It is a new original. You might remember when I did the Council of Horses Oracle, one of the horses in the Oracle is the Kelpie, which is the Scottish water horse. The Kelpie is a shapeshifter, and this is the Kelpie encounter. This was a work of art that came unbidden. I was not knowing what I was going to draw that day when I started, and this is who emerged. And she is very inspiring and has a deep presence, which you can see in the eye. And these details that you might see on her face, the little white droplets, are like water droplets. She's come out of the water to greet us. And her mane is like lakeweed textures and water mixed in. And there's a forelock dripping down with beautiful drops of water, and the eye that is so deep and expressive. To me, this horse's beingness is like the water itself, asking us to dive into our own origins, where we live within ourselves, who we are, who horses are to us, who kelpies are to us. There were interesting effects that just intuitively came to me as I was drawing it. These strokes and lines to me felt like a fin, you know, even though it's the horse's cheek, it's like the mimicking of a watery creature that would have those kinds of fins like a fish would have. And there are suggestions of gills on the neck of Kelpie. So I'm excited to share this with you because it is an original, and originals are very special. There's nothing like them. And I'm excited to hear what you think of this. I'd love for you all to give me a note afterwards and tell me how you like Kelpie Encounter. And it will find a home with someone special. It's being called right at this moment. Is the crescendo of our show. Now, this is also reimagined, but this is an entirely new piece based on a work of art that I did before. This is Double Take. Double Take is originally this mare, just the mare and the background, didn't have a companion, but the cowbird came along and said he wanted to be her companion, and she said she would like to have him join her. So just like all the beautiful cowbirds that we've known and seen over the years riding on the backs of our horses and our deer, this cowbird was so fun to paint. I don't get the chance to paint birds very often, so it was a bit of a challenge with pastel to capture him so small, but I was really, really happy with his details and his iridescent feathers. And this is another iridescent piece that's reimagined from the original print and then retouched, but completely redone. So it's essentially an original. And I decided to call it Double Take 2, TOO. And so they get to be shining together and keeping each other company. And I had learned that in Navajo tradition, that the cowbird is sacred to the Navajo as is the horse, and that they have a unique and sacred relationship with each other, which I thought was so beautiful because I see them all the time together, and it makes a beautiful harmony and balance to think that they are joined through time. So that's the show for today. I'm so excited to see how you all enjoy the show. And thank you so much for joining me on the Day of the Horse. I know you will hold the horse in your heart today and express your love for the horse in whatever way feels most perfect for you. Talk to you again soon.